This podcast may contain paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, your go-to resource for unraveling the intricacies of business and leadership, honing in on the essence of bootstrapping a business from scratch. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a dedicated bootstrapper, or a leader navigating life's various challenges, this podcast is crafted just for you. I'm Isaiah O'Connor, your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, and my mission is to guide you towards personal and professional growth. Let's embark on this journey together. Now, with new episodes dropping weekly, I want to welcome you to the Remastered series, your chance to catch up on the journey so far. Here's one from the archives I think you'll enjoy. On today's episode, we're revisiting the roots of my required secondary powers series. I've revisited the concept in 2024 and in 2025. And I'll include a link in the episode notes if you'd like to see how my views have deepened. I hope you enjoy. Today I'm going to be talking about a film and movie concept that actually applies to business quite well. Now, the concept is something called required secondary powers. This comes from a website called TV Tropes, and you can go look that up if you feel like it. You just look up required secondary powers on TV Tropes. And kind of to sum it up is a lot of superpowers you see in the movies only work if they have other secondary powers to go with it. Well, for an example, let's take the very typical power of super speed. The Flash, or Superman super speed, or Quicksilver, or any other super speedster. Well, there's some issues with that. First of all, if you're running super fast, you're going to need super ability to be able to breathe, because when you're running super fast, it's really hard to get air in. If you're not sure about this, go on the highway, do about 80 miles an hour, stick your head out the window, and try to breathe. It's not as easy as it would seem. Then you also need super heat resistance, because if you run really fast in atmosphere and air, you're going to start to burn up. If you're not sure about this, look up at the night sky and watch a meteor. That bright streak of light is a little pebble hitting the atmosphere so fast that the friction from that little pebble through the air heats it up till it glows bright, white hot, and then burns up just from the friction in the atmosphere. So you need super heat resistance if you're going to be a super speedster. You're going to need super eyesight. You will be able to, because the faster you run, the more blurry it will be, and you'll need to be able to somehow see running super fast. And matter of fact, if you go to YouTube, you can look up Because Science talking about the Flash, and he talks about how the Flash would have a really hard time being able to see when running super quick. And of course, you would need a super metabolism, because the faster you run, the more calories you burn, and so you need a super efficient metabolism. And even in the comics, at least the Flash is always eating just to fuel his body to run super quick. Without all of these secondary required superpowers, your superpower would be difficult to use, if not deadly. So there are other things you need other than super speed to run at super speed, and that's just super speed. Matter of fact, we have a real life example of this. The Australian tiger beetle is the fastest insect on Earth. It can cover about 8 feet in 1 second. This does not sound that impressive, but when you take into consideration how small they are, how tiny they are, they're less than half an inch long. When you adjust for their size, they run the equivalent of 10 times faster than the fastest human sprinter. In other words, they're a super speedster. They do not have to worry about air resistance as as much because they're so small, but they do have a vision problem. When they get up to full speed, they're traveling so fast that their eyes are not capable of receiving enough photons to be able to see clearly. Their vision becomes blurred and they have to stop to correct their course often. They run in short bursts to compensate for the lack of super eyesight. So you have this little beetle goes very super fast and has to stop because he can't see anything because he doesn't have supervision. He has to stop, look, stop, go. Actually, kind of a cool little bug. Anyway, so why am I talking about superpowers other than I'm a nerd and a movie buff and whatever? There's actually something important here, and that applies to business, and that is, let's apply it to entrepreneurship. You found your passion, and you're going to take a leap of faith, and you're going to start your new business idea, and this is your primary superpower. I am an incredible graphic artist. I like drawing. I'm going to be superpower. It's graphic artist. I'm going to start my own business. Great. That's your main superpower. However, you need to have and or develop other abilities in order to succeed. Some of these you may be born with. They come naturally to you. Others, not so much. But some are born just from your passion. You love graphic art, so you become a little bit more precise because you have to be precise in graphic arts, and that just comes from that. That's fine. But the rest can be developed, and all of them are needed to work. Now, some of these things are things like integrity, determination, self-discipline, confidence, creativity, and a willingness to learn. These are all secondary powers that are vital to success. Without these, success can be elusive. No matter how good of a product or service you offer, you won't succeed without them. You can be the absolute best, incredible graphic artist on the face of the planet and not have any persistence, and you'll fail. I mean, you need everything to work. It's not just what you do. You have to have other things to kind of support that. Now, with all these secondary powers, you can succeed. Even with an average level of good service, you can be an okay graphic designer, but have good determination, self-discipline, confidence, and creativity, and do super well. There might be a better graphic artist, but they're living with their mom in their basement, laying around all day, not doing anything. They're better than you are, but you will be more successful. Now, see, not everyone is born with all these different qualities, all these different things, but the good news is you can use your passion for what you do to help develop out these other quote-unquote secondary required powers to do it. Now, this is going to be the first of a series of podcasts about what these powers are. And the next one I'm going to talk about is determination. How important is it to be determined and not give up, etc. Thank you, everyone. I'm Isaiah, your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur. Until next time, you have a good day. If today's episode added value to your day, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and consider giving us a stellar 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or more. And remember, if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, I will personally read it out in the next episode. To support the show, you can make a one-time gift by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap, donate through PayPal at paypal.me/IOCPOD, or make a contribution on our Patreon page at patreon.com/IOCPOD. Your support keeps the episodes coming. For even more content and exclusive perks, join our Patreon community at patreon.com/IOCPod. Patrons enjoy ad-free episodes, access to our private Discord server, early content previews, and a lot more. And here's an exciting offer. Get your free trial of our $5 a month Bootstrapper Community Explorer tier. This exclusive tier grants you ad-free content, Discord server access, and early content previews. Join us and be part of the inner circle. If you're feeling more generous, those who join tiers $25 a month and up will have a chance to be a featured guest on this podcast. A massive thank you to Wintergotten for generously providing the incredible intro and outro music at no cost. We appreciate their support. Be sure to check out Wintergotten's amazing work on YouTube at youtube.com/@Wintergotten. Until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor, signing off. This is the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, brought to you by Athos Business Solutions. For our companion podcast, the Athos Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, along with past episodes and related blogs, visit our website at athos.com. That's ATHEOZ.com or theoz.com. Goodbye for now.